This is not just another golf podcast. This is Golf Underground. This is Golf Underground. We just happen to be the third funniest podcast in golf. We interview PGA Tour pros, Hall of Fame athletes, rock stars, business leaders. Sure, we talk about golf, but we have fun. All right, let's do it. Welcome to Golf Underground. Now your hosts, Wardo, Sully, and MLB Hall of Famer, George Brett.
Thanks for joining the Golf Underground. Now, the Golf Underground is brought to you by Star Companies, KC. Experience a more energy-efficient and comfortable home with Star's insulation services. Regain Functional Medicine. Feel better, function better, move better, and look better. Regal Distributing, specializing in the distribution of food service and professional cleaning supplies to a variety of industries. Cowell Insurance, providing brokerage and risk management services for over 25 years. Sano Orthopedics, care plans backed by research and clinical results tailored perfectly to individual needs. Bob Sight Ford and Bob Sight Independence Kia, where you'll score a double eagle on your next car or truck. Sheridan's Unforked, eating good and feeling good. Lewisburg Ford, nobody sells more F-150s than Lewisburg Ford. And Celebrity Greens, put a custom PGA caliber putting green in your backyard for the ultimate golf experience.
Hey, welcome to Golf Underground, back at the stable. It's the holiday season, so hoop-dee-doo. What's your favorite song? Christmas song?
Ooh, favorite Christmas song? I'm going Jingle Bells.
Oh, that's creative.
That's creative.
All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, one of
That is a good one.
That's, I think, ranked the number one Christmas song. Downloads.
Did you ever see that movie? What was the movie? I can never think of the name of that movie. 4 different people, filmed in England. You know, one guy comes to the States, goes to Milwaukee. What's the name of the movie? I know you've seen it.
No.
It's one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
I just saw one the other day with, Ryan Reynolds. You know Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds.
Wrexham. He's the Wrexham guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was with Will Ferrell. And it was like a musical.
Elf.
It wasn't the Elf. It was like a musical. And so it was funny because you had Will Ferrell like singing music. And I thought, what would it be like if George was cast in a musical?
Wouldn't have happened.
Wouldn't be very good.
That would be the same thing. What would happen if Harry made it on a tour? It's not going to happen. There's my buddy. I love you like a brother, man.
He just come in to get bashed.
That's what he does. All right, well, good. Listen, so, hey, we're going to let you introduce who we got a special guest today.
Yeah, so I've been chasing this guy for about a year, maybe a little more. I've always wanted to come on, talk greenskeeping, agronomy, and just what it's like from his seat. I think a lot of members at all these country clubs are fucking experts in growing grass and have their 19 different opinions. But at the end of the day, these guys are professionals and they know what the hell they're doing, especially this guy. Justin Hunt, he's been with at Mission Hills now. Somehow we convinced him to come to Kansas City from Richmond, Virginia, right?
That's right.
And we all have to thank Heath Mayer, who I invited to come tonight, but because he saved our club and our golf course.
He was invited and did not come.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wood. Oh man.
Well, he had a big dinner at Blue Hills or some holiday deal. But thanks for coming on the show, Justin.
No, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So talk a little bit about kind of your upbringing and what got you into such a tough profession of taking care of golf and basically big parks and dealing with members that bitch a lot.
Yeah, big land.
I think I see the theme of this show right now.
Yeah, there's a few complaints, and we try to take those complaints and make them into positives. I graduated high school looking for something to do. My wife now, Jennifer, she was the girlfriend at the time, was like, hey, you need to look into turf management because I played baseball, played basketball, love sports. Looked into it. Went to work on a golf course at Farmington Country Club in Virginia. Ran to a great superintendent there, Scott Kinnan. Scott Kinnan helped me get to Pinehurst. I did an internship at Pinehurst number 8. Graduated college. Left to go to Monterey with my wife now. Worked at Pebble Beach Company for 2 years. Had a great experience out there. Did a couple PGA events. Went back and volunteered for the U.S. Open in 2010. From Pebble Beach, my wife had 3 options for work. We had to either go to Sacramento, L.A., or Austin, Texas. And then we chose Austin, Texas after visiting Sacramento and L.A. Nothing against them, but tough places to live.
Austin Golf Club, correct?
Austin Golf Club. So I was actually supposed to go work at Barton Creek Resorts and get down there. And, money wasn't good. Things were getting a little tight. So they were like, hey, you need to go work for this guy named Doug Peterson. I said, great. Don't know who he is. Went and knocked on his door a bunch, wrote a lot of emails, got into the door. Doug Peterson is my mentor. He's taught me everything I know. He worked at Prairie Dunes for a little while, for 10 years. In the 80s, he did Baltimore Country Club. He built Austin Golf Club. He helped build Sand Hills Golf Club. So he's been around for a long time.
So he's Crenshaw's guy, basically.
Yeah, he's Crenshaw's guy. So the first day I go in for the interview, I'm 23, 24 years old, right around the golf course, see the property, all golf, no pool, no tennis, no flowers, just a beautiful thing.
Was it in great shape, though? Fairways, greens, everything in good shape?
Unbelievable shape. Everything was great shape. Get up to the driving range, one guy hitting on the driving range, stop the cart, get out, it's Ben Crenshaw. Yep. Just mine exploded. I just couldn't believe that that's who I was meeting day one. Got the job and took off from there, spent 5-6 years there, went to Kinloch after, and then ended up here. And got a call from Dave Axlin, who's a Corin Crenshaw guy, and he said, hey, you need to come maybe interview for this job out here in Mission Hills. He says, it's a great place. Kansas City is a great place to live. I said, sure. And here I am.
So
now I'm hanging out with you guys.
What was the interview process
Rock
like
bottom.
when you came here? Did you ever interview for any other top jobs?
Sure. Yeah, I interviewed for a few jobs, but I got here and Heath Mayer was in the room, so
He saved our course, by the way. Can I tell that story?
Absolutely.
So Heath is a friend of ours. His nickname's Moose, and he's a friend of ours and a good player. He says he played golf at KU, but I don't think he ever teed it up during any
You got to
event, did he?
dig deep on the media guides to find
Yeah,
him.
to find him. But he was on the team. He practiced with the guys. I don't know if he ever traveled, but a good player, good friend. And he was walking, or somebody was walking through the men's grill one time at the club, Sully. I don't know if you've ever heard this. And these 2 older gentlemen were talking, and they go, boy, every time we see Heath Mayer, we got to thank him. He saved our golf course. He saved it. And I think Heath was instrumental in hiring you.
He was fantastic.
Or who else was on that committee?
He hit me with a lot of hard questions, Heath. I remember Brendan Buckley was on that.
Yeah.
And
But they never said Brendan Buckley saved the club. Heath Mayer takes all the credit.
That's right. And John Petro was the lead. He was the green chair at the time.
He was out yesterday playing.
And
I saw him.
We had a lot of phone conversations getting to Kansas City. He was a big part of it, and he's treated myself, my wife, and my kids outstanding. I owe a lot to John Petro making the whole transition so easy.
So back up, George cut you off. So during the interview process, talk through a little bit deeper into what that was like and dealing with those 3 guys.
So Mission Hills, we had a few phone calls. You had a couple group calls, and then finally they narrowed it down to 3 candidates. They flew myself out. I don't know when this was, maybe November of 16, and we had a round table up in the view room, and there's probably 9-12 people there. Michael Crandall was part of the process. It was about an hour and a half long of just conversations about the golf course and where we can get it from here to there. And looks like I did a pretty good job and got them to go to my side. And after that, they flew my wife out and myself out in December, showed them the club and showed them around Kansas City. And after that, we signed and we're here.
So during the interview process, obviously you saw quite a few things. We all weren't too happy with the golf course and the condition and the playability of it at the time. Why would you want to inherit that?
Well, I was looking for the opportunity to prove myself as a superintendent. They're not the easiest jobs to get, and it's not easy to get them at, really great private clubs that are owned by members. That's kind of what you're looking for, and that's like the best scenario. So when I got out here in November, it was kind of hard to see the conditions because, everything's dormant, nothing's moving, and everything's kind of, overgrown a little bit just because of the time of the year. But I knew I could be successful with bent grass greens, Georgia fairways, Georgia tees, and cool season rough. I was very familiar with those types of turf, grown them for a lot of years. Everything they explained to me, what they wanted out of the golf course, they wanted it firm, they wanted to play, they wanted to turn the water off, and all those things I can do well, and that's kind of my vision for the golf course as well. We want it to play well. And that was the main focus. And when that was the main focus, I knew it was the right spot for me.
Why do you think they picked you?
Honestly, that's a great question. I think my work history helps. I hope my interview skills were pretty good. I had a nice presentation set up. And then, really your references and, all that together, helps, push you ahead of maybe someone else.
Yeah.
I think too, like I went to I stopped by the other night and they had a dinner for Jeff King and Justin up at Meet Mitch, and it's like the guys just want to be around him, and I hope vice versa. And so I think that the rapport he has with the members and some of we call them the golf snobs, the good players.
Yep.
There you go.
And I think that's super important. But do you think the firm and fast and turn the water off, do you think you got some of that from your mentor in Austin? Because I've played Austin Golf Club a couple times, and that's Zoysia Strand, similar in the fairways, and firm, just playing completely different than there's a lot of good country clubs around here that are just soft.
No, absolutely got it from my mentor. I mean, I owe it all to Doug Peterson. I mean, the guy just knew how to grow great turf. He knew what the good golfer wanted out of the golf course. He knew that the ball needed to bounce, that the greens needed to roll smooth. I mean, you go for speed, but chasing speed can sometimes put you in a hole. But he just knew exactly what they wanted because he's been around the game for so long. And so for me to be around him as he was kind of getting close to retirement, and then just having really great players at Austin Golf Club and speaking with those folks about what they wanted out of the golf course and what they were seeing on the golf course just helps you figure out what your goal is when you go to manage the golf course.
Now, I should know this. What kind of grass is on a baseball field?
Well, it could be all different types depending on where you are.
Okay, but in the Midwest, what kind of grass would they have?
I would say mostly bluegrass.
Bluegrass, okay. I played on AstroTurf my whole career because George Toma, you've heard of George Toma.
Sure.
The greatest groundskeeper in the world, supposedly, right? And I agree. But when I was playing for the Royals, we played on AstroTurf because it rained so much here in the summer that people that would drive in 2 hours, 3 hours, they wanted to make sure there was a game.
Sure.
And they didn't have that suction system they have now. So we decided that, hey, we're going to just put AstroTurf on, and I played on AstroTurf for 20 years. But I'll never forget George Toma for what kind of grass, bluegrass or?
Probably bluegrass is most popular.
Okay, bluegrass is, and George Toma always said this is the hardest place to grow grass in the country.
It is.
Kansas City. Is that right?
Yes.
I mean, because of the extremes, the heat and the humidity, and then the cold, and
absolutely, you nailed it. I mean, you get as cold as Minnesota, you get as hot as Texas. So I mean, on a baseball field in this area, you could have Bermuda grass during the summertime, and then you would want to
have to redo the whole thing.
Full season grass in the spring and fall.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a real challenge.
And now the Royals have grass, but they have that suction, so they can water it as much as they want. They can suck the water off as much as they want. But you go back to the 70s to the 90s, they didn't have that.
And Arrowhead, same thing, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't
You can heat it from the bottom and all that stuff.
Right.
Well, and didn't you think it was sort of a wasted talent? He was famous.
Well, but still, I mean, they had to play 81 home games. They didn't want to play.
Yeah.
They didn't want to play 20 doubleheaders or 15 doubleheaders a year.
Right.
They wanted the gates, and back then they didn't do the day-night split. And the players hate the day-night split.
Right.
So they would rather just play 2 games in a row, play 18 innings, and get the hell out of there, you know?
Right.
So did he get famous from taking care of Arrowhead?
Well, no, because they had turf too, but he did the first Super Bowl. That's where George, he was very well known. He knew the guy, he was doing minor league baseball, and then all of a sudden, the guy from Cleveland, the real famous guy, I want to say his name was Blauser or something like that, recommended George through his work in minor leagues, and then George did the Royals forever at the old stadium before they had the AstroTurf. And that's where he got his niche. And then for every Super Bowl ever, he's gone down, do the practice fields 3 weeks prior to the teams getting there. He goes down, does the field every year. Every year he's been the main groundskeeper
still
for
alive?
the food. Still alive. Lives in Fairway, Kansas.
Let's get him on the
Does he
show.
really?
He's
You're probably
George.
neighbors.
I know. I was like, I live in Fairway, so that's awesome. I had
Well,
no
he
clue.
lives, you know where Bishop Miege is?
Yes.
He lives about 4 blocks from the football field.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
They say Agnes over there.
Yeah.
That's
Let's get him on the show.
At some point,
sure.
I would love to
I
come.
want to get back.
Well, you know what? I should invite him over to have lunch one day at Mission Hills, and you have lunch with us.
That would be great.
And he could tell you some stories.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, my God. But he said he's so good he could grow grass in your pocket.
Really?
Well, Sully's
tough.
pockets are pretty moist.
Well, hey, they're so
tater
big.
tots
They're so
in there.
big. They can put a sod farm in your pockets. They're so big.
You know, and what
But
about?
has your hand ever gone in your pocket to pay for anything?
He's got alligator arms.
Yeah, I
He's got those
prefer
short arms.
I
Deep pocket
prefer
short arms.
Now, can he grow something in my inner belly button?
Probably.
Probably.
You know,
A lot of
it's like
lint
a
up
chia
in
pet
there.
down there. Yeah. But I want to go back to something. So you have to create a great golf course, but then you have to manage these members, right?
Right.
And history tells me that those folks who are just so into being the best at grass often aren't the greatest guys who do your job. It's the guys who are out there driving on a Saturday in their golf cart, or in the cart.
Sure.
Guys, how we doing? What's up? There's a little bit of sales job to it, right?
Absolutely.
How do you think that way? And if so, why?
So I think you have to be good at both, especially at a country club. You have to be able to handshake. You also have to be able to manage good turf.
Yeah.
So, there's probably a mix. What I think makes a great superintendent is a superintendent that can manage the golf course, manage the turf, create a great team that follows, what his vision, handle the budget well, but then be able to get out there and shake some hands, say hello, see how everybody's doing. I think
You get more of a mulligan, right? So if something goes south, if someone feels like they can at least say, hey, my friend, right? They want to be heard maybe sometimes.
Right.
Yes, there's a lot of pricks, but you can silence the pricks just by showing up.
I think
Right?
that's probably one of the biggest challenges I had coming into the role is getting people to buy in to your vision and how you're going to manage the golf course. Because the grass during the summertime is not always going to be green.
Right.
It's going to be brown. It's going to be off-colored. If you want the golf course to play good and bounce, it's not going to be perfectly green. And if you want a pretty golf course, it's probably not the job for me.
Sure.
It's
not going to be fast.
Right. You can't really have both. Getting both a pretty golf course and a playable golf course is almost impossible.
Well, not to cut you
Only a
off,
few people can do
but when people would drive by on State Line or whatnot, and they'd say, gosh, that place looks good. So we coined ourselves as the golf course that looks pretty from the street. And then when you got moss growing on the
Good from
first
far,
and the
far
12
from good.
greens, then so that was it. It looks good from the street.
And worms on every tee box,
Worm farm on 9.
Worm farm on.
There is something to be said about the person or the member that drives up the main drive and looks to their right and then looks to their left and they just want it to be green. And that's what they want. But the guys like yourselves that come out and actually play multiple times a week, they want it to play well. And that's what we're here for. I mean, we're here to make a golf course play well, not to not to look pretty.
So I know there was talk about just gassing the greens, or at least some talk about that with all the poana and just how they were reacting and just what you inherited. How did you get the frickin' poana out of there?
So we still have some. I mean, we're not completely clean, but we got greens from 70 to 80% POA to 40 to 50% POA to some greens less than 20%. So when you're managing that different of segregation on greens is pretty challenging. But we had a game plan. The club bought into it. You know, we made them pretty ugly the first year or two with some growth regulators, which knocks the POA way off color, but allows the bent grass to creep over and take over, and hopefully you win. And so you just got to dry them down. You got to use the right growth regulators. You can't over-fertilize. You got to do the right aeration cultural practices. It's just there's got to be a program. And if you have the right program, you can make it happen.
It seems hard, man.
It takes time.
Honestly.
So did you
I think of me going to Lowe's and buying a bag of Scott's fertilizer and how much I fuck up my lawn. Right? The shit you're talking about, this is like the blueprint to the space shuttle to try to keep everyone
That's
happy.
what we're trying to do. We're trying to be SpaceX.
So would you have to literally have a different plan for each green? So how you treated one, which was shitloads of PO, would it be different than you treated 6 or whatever? You
know, the ones that were really heavily infested with POA, we interseeded those with a new variety of bent grass. And that's probably the only thing we did differently with those. We really try to get more good seed, more good grass into those greens and the other greens to try to counteract what was happening on the surfaces. But the programs all stay the same for each green.
It's unreal.
So I always wonder how the hell a putting green grass can stay alive that short.
That's what
this might sound like a dumb question, right? But for people bitching about green speed and green, I'm like, the fucking fact that it's still alive and it's like that amazes me. Like, I don't know how you do it.
It's probably one of the reasons why I really get excited about growing turf is when you're trying to grow bent grass at 100,000ths of an inch. And you're mowing it, and you're rolling it, and you're mowing it, and you're rolling it, and you got foot traffic, and you got the elements, and you got
divots,
and you just many different.
You got Nancy who
outside
can't
factors.
pick her feet up, so she's
That
just scraping.
A lot of cleat marks.
You got guys like Sully that still uses metal spikes,
Metal spikes.
for whatever reason. I don't know.
They're autographed George Brett spikes.
Nice. I'm
They got the little rectangles in the green.
I'm chasing you down by 6th green. I'm catching up to you, and I'm yelling at you because you got your metal spikes on, and I get yelled at for yelling at you. But that's what makes it fun. There's got to be challenges, or it wouldn't be any fun.
Yeah,
So.
it is. It's amazing. All right, let's take a commercial break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit more about your role in sort of the design. I know you got this canvas out there, but
Sure.
How do you you could do something with it, right? You can
absolutely.
maintain, but you can also do some cool stuff. So I'm interested in that. So come on back. We're having a great time. Golf Underground, ESPN, Kansas City.
Guys, as the male body ages, testosterone levels steadily decline, and your body's become increasingly unable to produce healthy levels of the primary male hormone testosterone. At Regain Functional Medicine, we can help you regain your quality of life with testosterone replacement therapy. TRT improves brain function, sleep cycles, heart health, performance, and overall body composition so you can feel better, function better, move better, and look better. Visit us today at ifeelmuchbetter.com. Regain Functional Medicine with locations in Lawrence and Leawood. Regain is better.
Hey, Brian Sullivan here, and I've got a tip for you. You've got to head to Unforked. It's an amazing restaurant. What I like about these guys is they promise to buy and support seasonal, local ingredients first. And I love the fact that they source from smaller, family, GAP certified, or organic farms, prime-going regions, artisan producers. All I'm getting at is, if you like fresh stuff, Unforked is the place to be. And like they say it, fork or no fork, you can be sure you're getting the highest quality, socially responsible ingredients possible. And not to mention, it's delicious. So whether you're out south or downtown, stop by Unforked for a delicious and healthy meal. Sheridan's Unforked. Honest, clean food.
Cowell Insurance Services is your leading program administrator for workers' compensation. They're dedicated to meeting the unique challenges of the insurance industry and assisting employers in reducing their costs. CIS has provided insurance claim and loss control services to various industries, including trucking, construction, retail convenience stores, and healthcare, as well as public entities for over 30 years. They work with both retail agents and industry clients, or a combination of the two. If you're tired of fighting the rising costs of premiums and claims, give Cowell Insurance Services a call. Their dedicated staff is ready to find you the best insurance option at the most competitive price. They can help to define or enhance your safety program in order to move you in the right direction in reducing your claim and premium costs. Contact Cowell Insurance Services today, 816-214-4070.
Hey, Brian Sullivan from the Golf Underground here with a little good news. And that good news is that even double-digit handicappers like me can occasionally make a double eagle. All right, maybe not on a golf course, but even guys like me can score when buying a new car or truck. I'm talking about 2 stores, 2 brothers, and 4 generations, treating customers just like family. I'm talking about our buddies at Bob Sight Ford and Bob Sight Independence Kia. With these guys, you'll always score 2 under, with double the inventory and double the customer satisfaction. That's the Bob Sight Double Eagle. Now, Bob Sight offers a wide selection of vehicles and promise to make the car buying process as quick and as hassle-free as possible. Now, whether you have poor credit, no credit, or maybe a first-time car buyer, you can trust Bob Sight Ford, and Bob Sight Independence Kia will get you into the car or truck you choose with professionalism and attention to your needs. So go visit our buddies at bobsight.com, but only if you're looking for a vehicle that makes you feel like a U.S. Open champion. Hey, welcome back, Golf Underground. We're having a great time here. We're talking, I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff. It's holiday season. We don't give a damn. So, George, you were saying that Mariah Carey, all-time favorite. Yeah. All right. Movie. What's the? I don't know the movie, but so George Michael. Do you like the Last Christmas I gave you my? No, listen. The first time I heard that in 1986, I thought it was a little soft. I didn't really like it, and then I listened to it a couple of times.
I heard a Sting one today.
Yeah. No, you're George Michael from Wham.
Wham. I thought that's
like Wake Me Up Before You Go. Like a little feminine kind of, like a little, yeah. And the whole point of this story was, you know what? First time you hear shit, you might not like it, but if you listen to it like 40 times, you'll like it. Which means if you annoy somebody, just keep fucking annoying them 40 times. Eventually they'll like you. All right, that's the point. All right.
That was Harry and Charlie.
All right, Justin, let's talk through what does a day in the life of a heads greenskeeper look like? What time you get up? What time you get into the course? Let's say it's July 9th.
July 9th. So
wait, are you a greenskeeper or are you the super?
I'm not
whatever. Super.
What are you? Are you the super?
I'm a golf course superintendent. But I do get greenskeeper. I mean, that's more.
That's what the street guys call you, right?
Yeah. No,
that's your street cred shit.
That's the old school way.
That's the old school way.
Right.
And that's probably what we should be called. But we like to switch stuff up. So a typical day in July, usually not sleeping very well. But I usually get up about 4:30. I try to work out a little bit because I'm getting old.
Yeah.
I drink too many Coors Lights. And then we get to the golf course around 5:30, 6 o'clock. We do a big team meeting with the guys. Usually run about 25 fellas during the summer.
What time is that?
Usually around 6 o'clock. We get try to get everybody together for a team meeting. We have 4 assistants. We have 25 crew guys. We have a horticulturist. We have 2 mechanics. So, you get in there and you try to get everybody on the same page. And then you got to hit the ground running because usually we have some sort of shotgun event or something that's pushing you out the door every day.
Monday.
So we set up the morning jobs. We get the morning jobs knocked out. We come back. We get second jobs set up. We get second jobs out. And then, we meet with the guys and we, after the day and set up the next day. Well, you're just basically, during the summertime, you're just fighting.
Just holding on.
Hand watering quite a bit and just trying to beat Mother Nature.
Hey, can we role play for a second? All right, let's say it's a Thursday afternoon, and there's a lot going on. You got the member guest coming up in 2 weeks, and one of your guys comes in and says, "Holy fuck! Over on 16, whoever was mowing the green." There's an oil streak that goes all around. Looks like a candy cane.
Oh, man. The worst.
That's happened.
How do you handle it?
Happened before you got there.
That's All right. Now the guy comes in. He's kind of sheepish. You know, he's over there in the corner.
You gotta,
all right, and you gotta address it. Like, all right, he's over there, and he's a good kid. He's right. He's normally a good kid.
Right.
He had a rough day.
Booney.
How do you coach?
How about Booney? Booney's worked there how many years?
44 years.
44 years we've had a guy working there.
Yes.
You know who he is, the guy with the beard that's always driving? Yeah, he's a great guy.
He's got more oil stains in his underwear than he does on that green.
Booney is my man. I love that guy. He has more passion for Mission Hills than anyone I've ever met. He's fantastic. But going back to your role playing, you know, stuff happens every day. You know, there's something bad that happens every day. And if you're one of the guys that flies off the handle or just gets overly excited about, you know, the everyday stuff, you're just not going to make it in this business.
Right.
I mean, you got to have, I feel like I have a pretty calm, level-headed demeanor. So in that scenario, I'd be like, come in the office, tell me exactly what happened, and then let's ride out there. Let's take a look. Let's see what's going on, and then you just take it from there. But jumping the gun, yelling at people doesn't solve anything.
No.
And, you know, we got guys ranging from 16 to 80 years old.
That's crazy.
So you're trying to get that widespread of folks to do something really well. And that's also one of the challenges.
Do you think the kids that are 16 are just doing it for the summer to have a summer job, or do you think this is something that they're really into, that they say, hey, I might want to do this?
We got a couple kids that, you know, we've been really fortunate lately. We've had some really good interns from Kansas State, and we've had some kids that really have gotten involved and want to be in the business. And we've got them some internships at Sand Hills Golf Club and some other places around the country. And, you know, we hope to keep building that tree, because that's what you really are aspiring to do, is to give back to, you know, the 4 assistants that we have. I want all 4 assistants to become superintendents, and you got to keep that rolling.
Yep.
And that only makes me more successful as well. So, yeah, the 16-year-old is, if he's not into it, though, he is very hard to get to work, to do it the right way. The 80-year-old that comes to work every day on time,
He
30
wants to
minutes
be there.
early, has 2 cups of coffee, he's fired up, hops on the rough mower and goes and does a great job. You don't have to worry about him.
Yep.
You know, so there's
Does he do a good job of taking some of these youngsters under his wing and helping them out, or is it one of those ones where he's just kind of going to do his
Get out of my.
Yeah, this guy's going to
Yeah,
be here for 2 months, and then he's gone. Screw him.
the older guys, you know, like Booney. I mean, I think they try to help the younger guys get going in the right direction. They try to explain to them, you know, what's important on the golf course when they're working, not to get in front of play, not to make a lot of noise when guys are hitting balls. You know, there's a lot of stuff that the 16-year-old has no clue how to handle himself on the golf course. Those guys do a nice job of that.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
Well, and most of them, listen, they're not going to stay in the business. But the great thing about being around golf, whether you're out there raking the bunkers at 6 a.m. or caddying, is you get to see successful people, right? And there's a discipline to it, right? So when to be quiet, when to be respectful, how to look, right? And to me, growing up as a caddy, I always looked at the folks. I'm like, I want to be Pete Sandor. That guy's a stud. Like, I want to be that dude. And that's what the game gives these kids, 16, right? I mean, they get so much out of doing it.
That's what we're missing. We're missing caddies.
I agree.
I agree 100%.
Yes.
I agree.
Everyone agrees with that.
And Mission Hills, that they don't want them. And you know, we have so many days because we get so much rain in the summer, cart paths only. I ain't walking.
It'd be perfect.
I'm not walking. I'm sorry, I'm not walking.
Right.
Back up.
What?
It's so most courses have cart paths that go tee to green and then to the next hole.
Right.
Ours stop. So number one, it stops right after the ladies' tees, and then it's scatter. So, and it's a cool old school. It looks aesthetically better.
Right.
But when we get a shit pot of rain, it's no carts walking only, and so there'll be guys won't play or can't walk or whatever. But that's where the caddy program would come in so handy, and I don't think it would hurt the P&L for Kinger if
No, Bill, here's what they do. When the night before, when they know it's walking only, no cart paths or no carts, and you have all these kids that are the members' sons or daughters, whatever, they throw in their name and say, hey, I want to work tomorrow. I want to work tomorrow. It's not going to rain, but the course is too wet. So guys will come out and play, but I'm 70 years old. I'm not carrying my own bag.
Right.
Screw that.
Yep.
And, they have those push carts. That's even harder.
Yeah, it's true.
That's
It's
even
wet.
harder.
How to work it.
And now that's a push cart. Now
Yeah.
they have the electric ones.
Yeah.
I tried it one
You
time.
chase it.
It almost cost me $1,000 because it ran into a tree. I had mine hit a tree and went in a bunker. And I'm going, no, I'm not doing this. You're going, left, right,
Or something you could do is something with the first tee and bring in the kids over on the weekends or on the desired
Well, listen,
days.
I'll tell you
on
how we
those
did
days.
it. Ours was a Donald Ross golf course in Connecticut where I grew up.
Awesome.
Built in 1899. And, he redesigned it. And we had a little caddy shack. Wasn't fancy. It was just a little roof.
Right.
And while you waited, you didn't know if you were going to get it back. We'd play this thing called roof ball, and everyone was. And if you won, you got 50 cents to get a Sprite or a Diet Coke. And normally your name came up, and it was amazing, right? Hey, Mr. Brett's here. You get Mr. Brett's bag, and you're getting, because we would double bag it, right?
Sure.
And your day was great, and everyone, the members loved it. And you got your guy. You'd have one or two guys who become your guys,
Right.
And then the member guest rolls around. You're like, come on, Andy, you're 4 caddying for me. It was great for everybody. And I would say now more than even back then, because we all have step counters on our iWatch or Apple Watch. People would walk more now. I don't know why that culture has not come back.
Well, when they have,
it's just in the Northeast and
It's just
South
on the coast.
Yep.
The Midwest.
they have the Evans Scholarship Program back there, which I play at Sankey, and I have caddies. And the caddies don't know much about golf, but they're there to learn golf, and they're there to just make money and meet people and learn how to live without their parents by their side. That's what that program's about. And I know when we have special events and they have all the kids of the club, they're sitting in fairways with little flags, and you hit a ball in the rough, and the kid goes over and he puts the ball over there, and he goes, Mr. Brett, your ball's right there. Mr. Ward, your ball's right there in the middle of the fairway. George, you're 14 fairways over. You're in the wrong fairway again, but here's your ball, and they sit there. These kids make, and everybody tips them.
Of course.
I bet they're making $400 or $500 a day.
Of course.
At least.
For a 12-year-old kid, a 9-year-old kid.
It's a good
All
day.
he does
That's
is
their
go
Super
put a
Bowl.
thing down.
It's huge. And
But they
you'll
could
get the
do
Shane
that.
Cortez's come up. Here's a hundo. There's a
Yes,
couple good guys,
exactly.
your go-to guys,
Exactly.
right?
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. But, that's what we need, I think, on,
So
on
in order
stuff
to
like
make,
that.
in order to make the caddies happen, are we going to have to make Heath Mayer get it done since he saved our club?
Absolutely. I would go Heath Mayer all the way. He can make anything happen.
Well, it's not going to happen. But, I'm just saying
Why?
on days that, well, I'll tell you why. I offered a friend of ours, a good friend of ours, his son one day, it was walking only. I didn't know that. I didn't get the text. I get out there and I see Will. I'm just going to say his first name. And I said, Will, I'll give you $100 if you caddy for me today. And he says, yeah, right. He was 12 years old.
I'd take that shit.
I would take that. I'll carry it
That's
back.
the mentality
Wait,
of
still
kids
take it.
nowadays. Yeah, right. George,
I don't
I'm going
know.
to caddy.
I think
I'm not a
If I were
caddy.
Will,
Well, here's
I would
the
have said, George, I'll do it, but I want to carry whoever I want to carry Riss Miller's bag too. I'll double loop it for $2 bills.
Yeah, you got to double loop it.
I mean, it's just
You
amazing.
double bag it, right? Here's the
amazing.
problem. Where you live, George, bunch of mamby-pamby rich kids. That's the problem, right? But the final note on this is I think it also classes up a golf club when you have a caddy program.
I'd agree.
I think it
agree.
differentiates you. Oh, yeah, Mission Hills. Yeah, they got a caddy program.
Okay, let's
Holbrook
just-
doesn't have it. Loch Lloyd doesn't have it. Like, no one else. Mission Hills, you come down here. We got a nice, and you got someone who's coaching these kids.
The weather's going to be good tomorrow. I'm going to go down to the club. I don't know if I'm going to. No, it's going to be bad tomorrow, isn't it?
It's going to be great Saturday.
Saturday. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to mention something to somebody. Jeff, I got an idea. When the night before the golf course is open for walking only, send an email to all the members and ask their kids if they would like to come out and caddy and maybe make $200. Mm-hmm. Because guess what? They're sitting in their house doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go
Well,
out and make some money.
They're playing video
They're
games.
playing video games. Exactly.
So, all right. So we've made some great strides with the golf course and made some changes.
Whoa, that's not my idea.
Whose idea was that? Oh, that was your idea.
caddy.
He's a caddy. I was giving him props for being a caddy.
So since you've come on board, it's been what, 7 or 8 years now.
Yeah, 7 seasons.
7 seasons. we've made major strides in obviously the condition, playability, all that, and adding some new tees, adding some length. What are the things that we need to do to be even in the conversation as a top 100 track?
To be a top 100 track?
Yeah.
That's tough. You got to have really special land. You have to have the history. You have to have great architecture. Mission Hills is a fantastic golf course with great history. What Keith Foster did with the property in 05-06 it's unbelievable what he got out of the golf course. Him coming back with Kevin Hargrave and doing some bunker work and doing that tee work and widening some fairways, and we're going to connect some fairways coming up, and some of that vision is just outstanding. It's hard to get into that conversation.
Well, and probably with the yardage too, right? 6,500.
Well, we're landlocked. There's no more land.
It's it's a short course.
100 acres, right? It's 110 acres, and there's 10 acres that you can mess around with.
That's right.
That's about it.
That's right. And there's some short courses out there that are great. Marion Golf Club comes to mind now. They bumped out the tees for the big boy U.S. Opens and stuff, but their daily play is not a crazy yardage, but their complexes are insanely good. The tradition is outstanding. So I don't know if we ever really are going to strive for that, but we're striving for creating something, an experience of golf that just outmatches anyone around the area, and that's kind of what we're.
It's got to be the goal. Yeah,
it's just so
not
good.
so much worried about rankings and what somebody thinks other than you guys.
Yeah, well said. What changes would you like to see, or new teas, or little unique ideas you have that either haven't been talked about or you think would be cool additions?
By the way, we should have done this show as a fireside chat at Mission Hills, for Christ's sakes.
Well, hey,
Yes,
this
that
is
would've
just a
been
little
good.
practice round.
Yeah.
George, then you could have rolled right into the bar and met your boys.
No, he's
for
going
your-
to
for your
Indian Hills.
Christmas
He's
dinner. He's going to Indian
It's an
Hills.
away
All right.
game tonight.
It's a away game. That's awesome.
Hey, don't go tell the head sitter in Indian all these.
I know.
secrets.
No, I'm not. I won't do that.
That's fantastic.
For those of you that don't know, Indian Hills is about 2 miles from our country club.
That's right.
That we're talking about.
Maybe less, probably less.
That's what makes Kansas City so great is you have Mission Hills, you have Kansas City Country Club, you have Indian Hills. There's so many quality clubs and golf courses in
And
the
they're
area.
right, and they're all within 2 miles of each other.
Yeah, it's
Those three.
Yeah, how about a little joint venture between Kansas City and Mission? Make one big ass.
Well, it's been
Big ass.
I heard it was discussed.
Oh, that was the thought.
Yeah, that was.
Well,
that
they're
was
getting
your
ready to
thought.
blow their
was-
course up. They're going to blow it up.
Really?
Yeah.
if back in the day
Make it Disneyland.
if the clubs would have been able to get together and make something really special, that would have been really cool for Kansas City. But 100 years ago, probably no one was thinking that you needed all this yardage, that you needed this big of a property to really make something special. So
Yeah. Well, George, no doubt you have hit some balls that have landed in Kansas City Country Club.
And vice versa.
Right.
Vice versa.
I've done it before on 17.
I
I'm in
just
the
don't have any knee socks to wear over there. I wear footies. I don't wear knee socks.
on 17. I shot trying to shoot the flag with my rangefinder. I missed the flag. I didn't know it obviously, and I shot something behind the green. And I go, oh, perfect. I got 7-iron or whatever. Well, I shot the light pole behind the green. I just pure it. My ball lands in the middle of the street and bounces over. I think it was a double whammy because I was in the first cut of rough, got a flyer. I'm like,
I hope
should
this
I
wasn't
say that?
recent. You've played
No,
there
it was
long enough.
a long time ago. But I'm like, that was a pretty bad mistake. So what tee changes or anything unique that you would want to add or that we haven't discussed?
Yeah, the fun stuff, like that canvas. Like
yeah,
what would
so we had a vision with the bunker renovation, switching up the style, the look of the bunkers, kind of knocking down those four fronts so you can walk in a little bit easier, knocking down the faces near the green side so you can get out a little bit easier. We added some tees then. We added some forward tees. We added some back tees. But I think that's still the program. We're going to hopefully add some additional tees. It would be great to blow up all the tees, to be honest, and kind of laser level everything, reposition some of them, maybe stretch them left to right to create some different angles off the tee to the fairway. one thing we're going to start this year is we're going to make some fairway connections. We're going to do 1 and 18 and combine those.
So you're taking out all the trees?
2 and 4. Well,
most of them.
we're trying not to say that we're going to take trees out. Trees are a very special.
But how many trees have they gotten rid of over the years? I mean, 500?
I would say,
And it's still tree lined.
and it's still tree lined.
It's still tree lined.
Yeah.
You played out there.
yeah,
I mean,
of course.
every fairway is tree lined,
Yeah.
but you don't need 500 trees down a fairway. You need
No.
10.
Have you seen the old
Right.
pictures of number 5? Go back and look at them if you haven't. Literally, it's like a bowling alley.
Yeah.
It was squeezed.
It was definitely 60s, 70s, 80s. You know, more is better, right? And we're going to make the place look prettier with all these trees, and we're going to give back to the environment, and it only hurt golf, you know, to a point. So the good thing we got out of it was we have some really special specimen trees that do, you know, are great oaks, great sycamores that have good placement. You just got to get rid of all the little trees and the trees that aren't hardwoods and get those out so that you can actually see them.
Yeah.
And I tell the guys all the time, every time a tree comes down, the place gets better.
Yeah.
You get a better view of the golf course. There's so much movement on that property, and you can't see it because there's so many trees and leaves. During the wintertime is the best time to go out there and look because the sun's angles down, you get the shadows going across the landscape, and it's just a ton of movement out there. And that's what Mission Hills has over a lot of the properties that are around us. We have great movement.
Well, what's the
property.
club in D.C. where they had the
Burning tree.
not burning tree,
tree.
not
Congressional.
not the congressional.
Thank you.
Congressional we used to be treed,
Sure.
right? And
So did Oakmont.
but it was
Oakmont, it doesn't have a
wild.
tree on it now, does it? No.
So
And their
when I
logo
was
is
in-
still a squirrel.
And what?
Their logo is a squirrel, and they have no trees.
Yeah,
Kevin took
yeah.
me out there one time.
It's freaking.
But
ridiculous.
it looks beautiful, right? So
Yeah.
so I drove up this little road, you know, I just kind of snuck over this berm. It looked totally different than it did. It looked like they went into Blue Hills and like just blew it up, and it was gorgeous, right? So you can take trees out and actually really make it look great
Sure.
and more playable. I think no
Plus
one likes to punch out every.
Plus,
damn,
it's less of a shit show in the fall trying to pick up the leaves. You can mow it easier. You can get the big mowers around.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how costly trees are to maintain, and then all the leaves and just you know, the maintenance that they bring to the golf course.
Yeah, and too many, like they choke out, right? I mean, you get, like you said, these little ones around this nice tree. It's like, I'm not even looking at it, and it's actually making that unhealthy. I'm an arborist now, and I think it's important to know that.
Well,
you're
and
an expert.
they got all those trees. They got all the trees around the green, and if the sun doesn't hit the grass, you get crappy lies all the time, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So
Hurts
what
the
I've
turf.
noticed about Mission Hills is they've taken a lot of big trees out from around the greens. And it's still a punishable thing if you miss the green because he's got the rough built up kind of high and the greens are so hard and firm and quick that if you miss the green, you're screwed.
yeah, right.
You short side yourself, you're done.
Yeah, yeah.
See, there we go. We got 2 experts in growing grass. There it
Hey,
is.
Yeah, hey, by the way, for those of you listening, sullygrows.com. sullygrows.com. No, but it's got to be hard, right? Because you got two audiences. You got the Wardo crew saying, hey, we want this fast and firm.
Sure.
Okay. Then you got
Mrs.
Hazel. I'm
Haverkamp.
nothing against Hazel, but she's going to have a hard time in the long rough, in
Absolutely.
June. Who you got to make happy here?
You know, I think as a superintendent, when you take a position, you got to do it the way you want to do it. Ooh. From the standpoint of, at the end of the day, if you get fired, you don't want to be like, I got fired because I was overwatering and trying to make it look pretty, and you didn't believe in it. At least if you get let go, you're believing in what you're trying to do,
right.
and honestly, that firm and fast for Wardo is better for Hazel because when that ball hits that fairway, it's going to run another 40 yards.
Oh, yeah.
And she's never seen
That's right.
an 8-iron going into a green before. She's usually, driver, 3-way driver, So
That's me.
Yes.
it's I think it's better for everyone. Now, it's also how you communicate it to the membership because not everyone's going to believe that, that fairway being a little browned out is better for you as the golfer.
To be honest, where I see the biggest difference in whether it's a woman senior player, a 12 handicap that comes over from a different club is around the greens in our green complexes, where if some gal hits it or a senior hits it in the bunker and he's kind of short-sighted, or he or she, like, they just don't know how to use the loft of the golf club and use the bounce and splash the sand. And so, like, that's where you see these people making a big mess, because our bunkers have, even with the bunker redo, like, there's still, you have to elevate it out of there.
Right.
And so that's the biggest thing I see, where these people get exposed, or they'll kind of laugh at the scorecard and go, oh, it's 6,500. I go, all right, you won't break 85. And they won't. And so it's so well protected around the greens. And when it's firm and fast, like, you really have to think, where can I miss this shot into a par 5 or whatever, where I can get this thing up and down. Or like number 13 is 276 yards from the back tee. So you're kind of thinking, all right, the pin's front left. If I miss left, I'm not making 3. So I'm going to fucking miss it in this front right bunker and splash it up to a couple feet and go to the next.
Well, let's talk about this. What's your take on this new golf ball trying to, make
roll
this
back
thing a little, does it help a Mission Hills that is shorter? But to your point, you're already going to get 85. Don't let the 6,500 yards fool you. I got my thoughts on this.
I think it's I'm not very smart when it comes to this, but I feel like it's going to be negative for the regular golfer. Now, if they want to do something different with the PGA Tour or for the events, that's great. But for the regular golfer, no one wants to hit it less. And from a Mission Hills Country Club standpoint, the golf course is protected, like you said, by the green complexes. So you can knock it down there and get it close, but you better bring your short game, and you better be able to putt. And if you can't do those things, you're not going to score well. So to me, it doesn't matter if you hit it 20 yards less, or if you're hitting it all the way down there. So what I would say is, I think it's bad for the common golfer for it to roll back.
Well, just make the pros use that ball, and us. We don't have to.
Right.
We don't have to use it.
But what are they saying? You're closer to all this stuff.
I mean,
than
I haven't.
else.
I'm guessing the reason why they're going to try to do it for everyone is just for the manufacturers not to have to make 16 different golf balls. But they make a pro football and a college football.
Right.
Why can't they make different golf balls? So, I mean, I'm not in favor of it. For all these years, for 20 freaking years, all they've said is, let's tee it forward, tee it forward, tee it forward. Well, now we're saying let's tee it back. Right. So it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Right.
Well, it's you and all your technology in here, and all these different shafts and the balls that people order when they come to your studio here, and all the video that you do, and all your classes to make them more flexible.
And people go to Regain Functional Medicine, and they get zapped up. They're a little stronger.
Yeah, it looks like you got zapped up,
a little
up
more
there.
healthy. And it's Jake and JD's, the barbershop.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah. What do you think, Wardo? I mean,
on the rollback?
On the rollback.
I don't particularly like it at all. I mean, and plus there's so many COVID golfers now that the game is freaking hard, and people are aging, people are getting less mobile, blah 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 blah. And I think that's why I think a facility like what we have is a little bit of the wave of the future. But that's what I think. I don't love it, and it might be negligible to the person that hits it 220 off the tee anyways.
Right.
But, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean,
is it definitely happening?
I think it's happening in 2028, 2030. Harry? You got any thoughts, Harry? You want?
Yeah, I agree.
That's Harry.
I haven't heard anyone say that it's going to be good for the game for the common.
Now,
golfer.
one
other than Rory
said it.
Rory.
Is he just a contrarian?
Probably. He probably.
Selfishly.
You know why I think Rory likes it? Because Rory knows he's so freaking good with his golf swing and his hands.
Anyway, George. Okay.
With his hands, that I think Rory is saying, you know what, I'm going to hit it better than Harry Hillier in a golf tournament over 72 holes. Let's let the ball spin, and I'll freaking find a way to make this thing work.
Yeah, I'm better than him anyways.
That has to be the reason.
I agree. All right, let's do a short course break. When we come back, we're going to do a quick rapid fire. Wardo's favorite segment of the Golf Underground. Come on back. You're in the stable. Hey, Brian Sullivan of Golf Underground with my favorite orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Kevin Whitty from Sano Orthopedics. Hey, Doc, golf season's over. My back is killing me.
I know it's football season, so you get a lot of kids coming in, blown ACLs, all sorts of body parts with problems. And then, of course, those baseball players. I know you fix a lot of elbows. Why is Sano Orthopedics the absolute best sports medicine orthopedic group in Kansas City?
Well, if you want to see the guys in town who've had the best orthopedic fellowship training in sports medicine, including training with Dr. James Andrews and Dr. Larry Lemack, come see us. We individualize patients' plans to get them back to that activity and that sport that they love, and we actually care and listen to our patients and follow up with them and make sure that they're getting the results they need.
Okay, and so the three things that separate you: number one, best training; number two, you specialize in getting people on that field; number three, you're actually listen. Where can I learn more? Because you got me all in, and I don't really want to get fixed, but it's time.
At SanoOrthopedics.com, 816-525-2840.
Hi, this is George Brett, Hall of Fame baseball player, and I've been playing golf for over 35 years. Hitting the ball far was never my problem, but the closer I got to the greens, that's when my problems began. When I wanted a golf practice area in my backyard, I called Celebrity Greens. They are the industry leader in custom-built synthetic golf greens. These championship caliber, low-maintenance greens roll great, react like real bent grass, and hold chip shots that check and spin. I absolutely love mine, not only in Kansas City, but also in Arizona. Call the pros at Celebrity Greens at 1-888-507-7960 or visit them online at celebritygreens.com. Practice like the pros, or people like me that want to be pros, right in your own backyard.
Hey, Brian Sullivan, Golf Underground, with a little tip for you. If you're looking to buy a new Ford, you have to check out my buddy, Jason Gudenkoff at Lewisburg Ford. They've been saving Midwest Ford buyers thousands of bucks for over 40 years because they do business the right way. They sell everything, check this out, for $50 over invoice. That's simple and cheap. And they win a lot of awards. In fact, they won Ford's President's Award 17 times. That's the top Ford award. And they only give it to dealers with superior customer satisfaction in sales and service. So they know how to take care of customers better than anybody. Now, what these guys know how to do also, keep this in mind, sell trucks. Lewisburg Ford has sold more F-150s than any other Ford dealership in greater Kansas City. That's 2 years running. And last year, they were the number one F-150 sales leader in the entire state of Kansas. So, no hassle. $50 over invoice pricing, unparalleled customer satisfaction, and a huge selection. That's a perfect recipe for selling trucks. So, check out all their inventory and prices online at lewisburgford.com or give them a call at 816-444-2300.
New golf clubs, a big screen TV to watch the U.S. Open, or maybe even a new golf cart that I've got my eye on.
No matter how you choose to spend the savings, if you're looking to put a dent in your monthly heating and cooling bills, the answer may be right over your head. If your attic isn't insulated properly, you're missing out on a prime opportunity to cut costs. Call the certified energy experts at Star Companies, Inc., 816-353-2160 for a free estimate to learn how they can help you save money. 816-353-2160 or visit Star Companies KC.
Welcome back, Golf Underground. We're having a great time here. Holiday season. So, Wardo?
That's the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
What is it? What are you guys talking about?
The
Whoop
session sponsored
What
by
does that
Whoop.
thing go on there?
It measures my heart rate, my
But
sleep.
what's that thing on
It's
there?
the charger.
Oh, okay, you're charging it. Okay.
Yeah.
The whoop whoop?
The Whoop Whoop.
I got to get one of those.
Wow.
Well, we'll get you one. Don't get one tonight because your recovery is going to be about a 4.
Yeah.
I did go to my cardiologist today. My cholesterol under 100.
Boom.
Wow.
I took a picture of it. Check
Let me see. Come on. Come on.
Never been this low.
Wow.
Never been this low.
You need to go to Regain and get that.
I don't have eyebrows.
Yes, you do. You got stragglers right
Well,
here.
look at this. Okay, what's that
Never
say?
mind the nasal hairs.
What's that say? Total cholesterol, minus 100.
It was
than
written, hey,
100.
by the way, that was written in with pen. This seems like a...
12/21/23. HDL, minus 40, good cholesterol, 58. Okay? LDL, minus 70.
I think we're violating HIPAA regulations
Look
right
at
now.
that. Look at those numbers.
Absolutely.
22 and 42. He said, George, that's the best it's ever been.
How about the testosterone level, George? No, I mean, but you still have testosterone in your body,
I
you
know
know?
what that is. It's probably 0. I got 0.
All right, hit him up.
Okay,
Rapid
go.
fire.
All right, Justin, you ready for the Sheridan's Unforked, Eating Good, Feeling Good Rapid Fire? I got 9 holes for you.
Let's go.
All right, number 1, your favorite golf property you've ever been on.
Austin Golf Club.
Love it. Favorite golf course to go play on a dude's trip.
Ooh, I would go with Kinloch Golf Club.
What is more fun to take care of, Bentgrass or Zoysia?
I think Zoysia lets the ball bounce a little more, so I'll take Zoysia.
God, he's so good at the rapid.
He knows his
All right,
audience.
the most. So you got single cut, double cut, triple cut. What's the most cuts you've ever done on a green to get these things bikini waxed?
We all appreciate the bikini wax.
Yeah.
So at Kinloch, we do for the member guests, we mow until there's no grass left. So it's a lot of mows to get the speeds right on the putting green for the after.
It's like a sand green.
Number 5, what's the fastest stemp you've ever seen in person?
It goes back to Kinloch. They love to push it. We were about 14.6, 14.7.
Unbelievable.
Yeesh.
All right. You're gonna go have a drink with the boys in one city and a night out. Where are you going? What city?
Well, since I'm living in Kansas City, I'm probably gonna stay here and go to the Green Lady.
Ooh, solid. Looks like we're going to the
What are you
Green
doing
Lady
after?
tonight.
Let's go to the Green Lady Lounge.
George, you
the
got
spot.
one? I got 2 more to close it if you don't have one.
Your favorite Mission Hills member besides Heath Mayer?
I'm gonna go with you two.
You're good
And John Petra.
My man Mike Steyer is my Greens chairman. And he's been fantastic for me. I love that guy.
He's amazing. What's the number 1 complaint that drives you up the wall? You don't have to say the name, but a complaint that you get too often, or that you hear and you're just like cringe.
Well, the other one I got the other day is, why are you cutting all the trees down? We cut down one.
Ooh.
We like that.
Cutting down all the trees.
All right.
Is that it?
And now, final question. Your dream foursome. George Brett is your caddy.
Dream foursome? Wow, that would be tough. I would say Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods. I gotta get one more in there. I'll bring my dad along, and my mentor, Doug Peterson, that guy.
Okay, I got one quick one for you. What's your handicap?
Ooh, I'm a high handicapper.
Yeah.
So I don't really carry a handicap.
20, 18?
15 to 20.
15 to 20.
That's it.
You a better groundskeeper or super than you are a golfer?
Absolutely.
I hope so.
Absolutely. that has never been my strong point, is my game of golf, because I didn't grow up playing golf. I kind of fell into the business from the golf standpoint. So I've been trying to catch up with the golf. Maybe I get some lessons.
Hey,
Let's get
or
you
just
dialed.
play with me.
I'll come hang out with you.
You got to play with these good golfers.
Yeah.
If the golf rollback happens, Sully is in deep shit because that thing is spinning like crazy when it takes off, and it is.
I mean, he likens it
is
to me
pitching
hitting it
at
with a
208.
head cover on.
Nice.
Nice.
Perfect.
It goes like this.
Sounds like sounds like
so
a
we
baby
can play golf
farted in a
together.
bathtub.
That's right. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
You know what that sounds like.
Merry
Not yet.
Christmas, Gordo, George, Jessica. Merry Christmas. Great year, George. You go have fun tonight. Drink
Okay,
some of that
I
fancy
will.
wine. See your boys. And by the way, we're going to talk some physio, all that other stuff that you're into coming up
yeah,
next
next
couple
week,
weeks.
absolutely.
And we got the Kate, the
We got Hair
Queen's
Bear.
booking all the fantastic guests. You're going to have a great 2024. So come on back, Golf Underground. See you in 2024.